Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is the Italian Job 10, although it really is more like version 9.1. Standard has felt like it has sped up, so we've brought in a bit more creature control that can help buy us the time we need to develop our board. We're continuing with the token theme and brought in a card to help us generate more tokens, and it can even give our team a bit of pump. The goal is to win with tokens, and if we can't, we've still got our backup plan of taking the opponent out with damage from lands. It's a brutal way to go, but that's how we roll. Let's get the shell in there. We're playing 3 copies of Into the Flood Maw. We went down to 3 to make room for some of the cards we brought in. This is our 1-mana bounce spell that we can use to delay an enemy, or if we gift the opponent a sushi, we can bounce any non-land permanent. It's a small price to pay to be able to return any annoying card back to the opponent's hand. Stormchaser's talent is a key piece of our puzzle. It's a 1-mana enchantment that gives us an otter token when it enters play. The token makes a great blocker early, or we can use it to get in for damages if the opponent is slow to defend themselves. The important part of the talent is level 2, which will let us get back an instant or sorcery from our grave. Being able to reuse some of our powerful cards a second or even third time can swing the game in our favor. Although level 3 is excellent at generating tokens, we do have other ways of doing so which cost less. Auroral Procession is a utility card, which we can use to get any card back from our grave, and because it is an instant, we can do so at the end of the opponent's turn, then replay the card we got back on our turn. This deck is a bit mana hungry, so there are times when using this early to get back a fabled passage can benefit us greatly. The Doppel is another key card not just for this deck but for the series. It's an amazing replication tool that can load up our board with token copies of important permanents. We can even copy the opponent's cards if there is a benefit to do so. And because the Doppel is a sorcery, we can use a talent to get it back to repeatedly copy anything useful. Stock Up is our dig card. There are other cards that work just as well, if not better, but as a third turn play, there are hardly any equals. This can easily get us out of a jam when we're stuck on 3 lands, while also helping us find any cards we need for the situation we're in. Ancient Cornucopia is primarily a mana artifact, but it can gain us life as well. The life gain might not seem like much, but it can sometimes keep us in a game long enough to deploy our more powerful cards. The Horn of Plenty can tap for any color once in play, so it can easily solve any color requirement issues we have. Felidar Retreat is a card we brought in to help build an army of token men. It is a landfall enchantment, which means we need to be able to get lands into play for the card to pay off, but we do have ways of getting more lands. A Fabled Passage is also a great way to get additional triggers from our landfall enchantments. And keep in mind that the Doppel can copy multiple lands for a pile of triggers all at once. Aetherize is one of our defensive measures. While we have been relying mostly on a sweeper to eliminate enemy men, the current standard has felt faster than previous years. We can fire this off earlier than our sweeper to hit attackers that are bent on doing us harm. And at 4 mana, we can fire it off earlier, and later in the game can give us the flexibility to play out other cards while leaving 4 mana up to be able to fire it off. Map the Frontier is our ramp card. It can be used to fetch out a pair of basic lands or even our deserts. It's a great way to ramp or color fix if we're missing out on a specific color. And when we get 2 lands this way, if one of our landfall enchantments is in play, we'll generate a pair of tokens as well. Beyond the Quiet is our sweeper of choice. It will exile all men on board, never to be seen again. While we could lose some of our men, we'll have nothing but tokens on board, which we can replace a lot easier than the opponent who may have lost multiple cards. Elspeth is a token-themed planeswalker. While she has a great set of abilities, we've included her for her ability to double the amount of tokens we generate. It's not even a loyalty ability, so there's no need to activate it. But she does have an ability that will generate a pair of token men, as well as a pump ability that gives our men not just a boost in stats, but also the flying ability. It's a great way to ensure that we can send it and get in for hits. Her -3 ability gives us a removal for any enemy that is 3 mana or more. Vivien Reid is a natural fit for our deck, as her +1 ability gives us Aetherize to search up a land off the top of our deck. In a deck that has landfall abilities, this is amazing. Her -3 ability lets us snipe an artifact, enchantment, or even an enemy that has flying. It's a bit of spot removal that can clear the way for our team if we've had Elspeth give our men the flying ability. Vivien's ultimate is a game winner when fired off. It gives our team a permanent stat boost as well as vigilance, trample, and indestructible. At that point, it should be GG's extra cheese. Virtue of Strength is a ramp enchantment that soars above the rest. For 1 mana, we can play the adventure portion, which will let us get back a land from our grave. We can use it to get back a fabled passage we use early for a second go-around. It's a great way to get out of shuffler specials. And once we play it out for its full price, all our basic lands will produce triple their normal amount of mana. This mana ability can let us fire off an endless wave of doppels to end a game. In multiples, the Virtue can give us hundreds if not thousands of mana. Sapling Nursery is our top-end token generator. It too has landfall, which will generate us a token tree folk with every land that enters play. While it does cost a whopping 8 mana, it does have affinity for forests, which can reduce the cost down to as little as 2 mana if we have enough forests in play. The nursery does have an activated ability that will let us exile the enchantment to give our forests and treefolk indestructible for the turn. We do have a way to animate our forests, so the ability could prove useful to prevent our team from going to an early grave. For lands, we're playing 4 Fabled Passage, the special land that can be fat-sacked to fetch out a basic land, 2 Lush Oasis, the Simic Desert, 2 Creosote Heath, the Selesnya Desert, 2 Lonely Arroyo, the Azorius Desert, 4 Forest, 2 Ba Sing Se, the special land that can earthbend other lands, 4 Island, and 4 Plains. From the original version all the way to this one, I found this series of decks fun to play as well as being able to take down many opponents. Playing the deck does require a bit of patience and a good understanding of when a hand is likely not going to work out. We don't have a strong early game, and it's those early turns that opponents have a chance to get us. Once in the mid to late game, we often can overpower opponents with our stronger combination of cards. There are 2 paths to victory. Either win with damages from men, whether they are tokens or animated lands, will depend on the situation and what we've drawn into. Or we can use a big doppel to snipe the opponent's life total by copying our deserts. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Overweight. Just work out a little bit and eat healthy. We're kicking things off with a Shuffler special. We are 1 land away from being able to play out most of our hand. And if we get a 3rd land, we can play our whole hand out. But that 3rd land would have to be able to tap for green. Let's not risk it. Mull. Then we get another Shuffler special that is rather heavy, Mull. Then we get a 3-lander with a stock up as our early play. This is worth a shot. Keep. We'll send the talent on down. We want the stock up and board wipe in case the opponent is going crazy with men. Our Overweight opponent drops a plains and nothing else. If they're slow to start, it only works to our benefit. We'll grab an island with our passage and we'll have at least 1 of each of our colors. They play out a carrot cake. If that's their best play, we're not in any immediate danger. We draw a talent which could be useful later. Hunt it for this turn, we're going to stock up. We'll take the retreat, and a land would be great to help us generate a token. If they're getting 1/1 men, our tokens will quickly outclass their men. Let's keep in mind we have nurseries in our deck that love us having forests in play. They drop in a Johnny. Hopefully they brought his litter box too. I don't want poops all over my floor. We draw an Aetherize. The additional creature control is welcome. Plus it won't touch our men. This turn, we'll go with our talent. We can use it to get back our stock up. Plus our otter token can threaten their Ajani. They use their demolition field right away. Sure, they can take out our Ba Sing Se, but we have a couple of ways of getting lands out of our grave. Their demolition field is not that big of a blow, and it limits what else they can do this turn. They follow up with a seam rip. Are those your pants being stretched to their limits? They send it, but we don't plan on blocking. We'll want to return fire with our otter. We draw a Doppel, which will need more mana than we have now to be effective. This turn will go with the retreat, then we can play our plains. Thanks to prowess, our otter is bigger than their blocker. There will be no trades made here.
My allies stand strong.
All they do is make a token, then pass the turn. 5 mana and nothing to play out happens to everyone, I suppose. We draw a Horn of Plenty, and I would have preferred a land, but this will work. We can play it out, and it will pump our otter. Let's get the shell in there. If we go after their life total, chances are they'll take it, and could end up building an army. Instead, we'll go after their Ajani. That will force blocks. We're not really concerned if they use Ajani's ultimate. We have a sweeper to wipe the board clean if they do. They make another token, but at that rate, they're going to run out of blockers. They hit our retreat with a removal, but it will give us map tokens we can use to plump up our men. They follow up with a Sage of the Skies, which doubles itself when it's the second card that is played out during their turn. That's 2 men for the price of 1. Don't really see this guy much anymore. It used to be all over the place. We draw a Passage, which would have been great with the retreat on board. Let's use our map tokens and see if we can dig up something we can use. That's our second retreat on top. We'll keep it. We'll pump up our cat token as well, then we can send it in. They offer up a token to avoid having Ajani take a hit.
My allies stand strong.
They send it, and we'll take the hits. We've still got plenty of life, so there's no worry about these damages. We'll play our retreat, and as soon as it's on board, we'll fat sack our Passage and fetch out a land to trigger the retreat. But the overweight opponent was not distracted by their donut, and they hit our retreat with another Get Lost. That's more map tokens for us, at least. On top, we have a map, the Frontier. That will get us a pair of lands, and with those, we can Doppel for 2. Let's send it. Ajani is already at 8 loyalty. They are down to 1 card in hand, and their options are running out even though they started with 7 and we went to 5. To my surprise, they used the minus ability to snipe our cat token. The ultimate is no longer on the table. I'm guessing they think their flyers will take the game. You just have to love how wrong they are. They double down on Carrot Cake. Those might win the game, right, bro? I don't play Seam Rip, so I have to make sure it does what I think it does. It's time to slam this ramp card on the table and get ourselves a pair of lands. We do want to get at least one desert, that way we can copy it with our Doppel. Now we can use our last map token before we send it. Get the shell in there, little buddy. No way. They minus their Ajani yet again. That's just amazing.
Abide wickedness.
We draw a second desert. It's about time these pain lands started showing up. With this one, we can now Doppel for 3 on our next turn. They use a second demolition field to take out one of our deserts. All we need is one to copy.
Your size belies your
It's
breed.
time to put these things back in their pants. The line has been drawn and their men will not cross it. It's time for our Doppel. We can copy 3 things, one of which will be their Seam Rip. We could copy a Johnny, but that doesn't feel like a good thing. Let's go with the Horn of Plenty, their Seam Rip, and one of our lands. I did want to copy the desert, but let's get basic lands so we can level up our talent once we get it. We can use our talent to get back the Doppel, and we can do this all over again next turn, but next time it'll be a Doppel for 5. Now to get back our Doppel. Getting the stock up would be fine, but the deadly weapon here is the copy. Copy we're about to do every turn until we lop off their head. Let's see if they'll play out their Sage. If they do, we can copy it and we'll have an Air Force. They destroy our Seam Rip so they can get their Seam Rip back. I'm not sure if they're paying attention, but we can Seam Rip their Seam Rip until Underverse come.
Side by side we fight.
They send it and will block. They will not go down to 0 due to damage from our men. They will go down to 0 thanks to our deserts. Doppel for 5? Yes. Yes, please. We'll copy one of our token seam rips. We'll be able to snipe 5 of their permanents. Then copy a Horn of Plenty for even more mana and more life gain. Let's get some islands. More mana is always good, especially since we want to level up our talent as soon as we get it. We'll copy our second seam rip, let's just be sure. And finally, we'll hit them for 5 with our deserts. Now we still have mana to fire off our ramp. We'll get another pair of deserts. On our next turn, we can Doppel for 10. It's starting to smell like GG's up in here. All they can do is make a token. They were counting on the Sage to get the job done. Oopsie poopsie, bro. That plan has gone the way of the dodo. We draw a Horn of Plenty and we'll play it out. All we have to do is decline all these triggers, since we want to gain life from the Doppel, which is twice as much life gain. Now we'll Doppel one last time. We'll copy deserts to make sure their life total is reduced to rubble. And we'll copy our talent to show that we could keep this up every turn until the end of time. This is GG's, extra cheese. No wait, Arena stepped in with us, putting lethality on the stack. Arena is mad boys. We were about to take their life total down. This is David Duchovny. No wait, it's David 2 Latte. He's busy brewing up a mocha. We open up with a 4-lander. We've got a pair of 4 mana cards and one of our sweepers. While this is kind of slow, we will have enemy men under control. Keep your pants on. The first play of the game is a Deceit coming in with Evoke. With their lands, they are likely on the Elementals deck that pops up now and again. They take our retreat, They're afraid of us having men, which means they might be low on removals. We draw another sweeper, their men will not be a problem to us. We'll go with our ramp this turn, and we get to find out if they're playing counterspells. Our frontier goes through with the tiniest of hitches. They go without plays, even with 5 mana available. We'll go without plays also, since all we have in hand are cards to deal with enemy men. When this happens, keep in mind that our endgame is likely much stronger than theirs. They play out a Riddler, the first real play of the game. It's a big flying beater, which will draw them a card when it enters play. I bet they're hoping we bounce it. We draw a Retreat, and that will be our play. Our tokens will be no match for their Riddler, but we are able to grow our tokens with the Retreat. They hit our token with a 1 mana removal. That does leave them with only 4 mana, and they won't be able to replay their Riddler. We'll wait for them to send it, then we'll hit it with Bounce. The reason for waiting is in case they have a way to give their men haste. Don't bounce enemy men when the opponent has red mana during their main phase. Wait until combat starts. And now they'll even have to toss a card. It's like getting a removal for free. We draw a Ba Sing Se, and we're going to be in business now. We can animate lands, and if they're killed off, they will generate cat tokens, and we'll animate deserts, so if they're killed off, they will hit the opponent for another point. They use a removal to hit our cat token. They don't want to snipe our land just yet. Unfortunately, we do have a weakness to reanimation strategies. Getting Bahama Mama out of their grave like that will hurt, but everything we have we can get back from our grave if we draw the right cards. We'll fire off one of our sweepers. They knew we had one, but they don't know about the second one. Our land will come back and they'll take another point. As long as we can, we'll keep animating lands. It's a slow, painful process, but it can get the job done. They fire off an ill-timed explosion. All that's left to see is if they toss cards to hit men for damage. And they do. That is more than enough to take out our land. That will get them down to 10. We draw another desert. The pain and damages will continue until you are dead, bro. They hit our land with a removal before we can send it. That's down to 8 life now. They bring back Lord Voldemort. They just don't know about our second sweeper. Let's eliminate Voldemort, then we can animate a desert and send it. They must not have a removal. We are able to connect for damages. They are getting low, too low. They're going to need a blocker or two. They go with another explosion in their pants. They are staining their trow. They go with a Cavero and use it to make themselves a deceit. That will let them snipe a card right out of our hand. Again, they take the Virtue, which seems odd. We draw a Procession, and we can use that to get back a card from our grave. It's kind of like reanimation. Out of all these, I think I like the Retreat. When they kill off our lands, we get cat tokens. We'll send it. It's their life that's in danger, and there are only so many more hits they can take. They do block. They'd rather take one, but that gives us a cat token from the Retreat. We draw a Frontier. We can fetch out another pair of lands and make more tokens. Now we'll animate and send it. It's going to be some damages no matter what they do. They snipe our token with a removal. They have to toss their last card to not lose the game on the spot. They play out a Black Overlord. It is another body to block up with, but even if they block, they're going to take damage from our animated desert lands. It's GG's, even if they don't know it yet. They warp in the Riddler, but that doesn't even matter. We draw a second Ba Sing Se to double up just as they fire off another explosion in their pants. And that, my friends, is another stained and satisfied customer.